My kids, Parker and Lily, are the designers of our next project. It's a fairy house. We started out with our family craft box, and then we went outside to find some additions like moss and stones that you can see there on the house. So this is really fun to make, and it's also a recycling project because you'll need to have an oats container or some kind of cylindrical container. You'll also want to have some paint out of your craft box and, of course, the moss and other natural materials, a paintbrush, pencil, ruler, scissors, and glue. So what you do to get started is cut down the box so that it's a little bit shorter and more fairy sized. And we decided that just taking a couple of inches off the top is about the right size for the fairies we're hoping to attract. So I just measure around the edge of the box and mark it so that I have a spot, and I can tell that I need to cut right along that line of type. So what I'll do is take my scissors and snip down to my marks and then start cutting around. This doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but if you need to get some adult help cutting it out, then you can sure do that. So cut your strip off of the bottom of the box. And then make sure that you remember to cut the door. Now I would say go ahead and do this now so that you don't forget to do it later. What you do is just cut a little piece out to make a flap, and then cut to the side to make another flap. And you can practice opening and closing it a little bit so that it has a little crease there. But you might want to leave it open so it can be more welcoming. So then what you'll do is start brushing some paint onto your container. Okay, now this is going to take a couple of coats. So go around and do one coat first, and then let it dry, and then do another coat. But you can use any kind of acrylic paint for this step. Just brush it all over your container. Okay, so I have one that I already let it dry, and I need to cut the top of my door there so that my fairies can go in and out. And then what you'll do is use your brush to put some glue all over the container. And you want to use a thick craft glue. You can use any type of brush, foam brush, regular paint brush, to brush it on. So just brush a thick layer of glue onto the container, and then place some moss on. And you just want to add a little bit at a time. It's really tempting to add huge chunks, but it'll turn out better if you add a little bit onto the glue at a time and just press it down with your fingers. Okay, so you want to cover the whole outside of your container so that your fairies have a nice natural looking place to live. Now when you get to the top, I want to show you how to finish the top edge because that's kind of a tricky bit. You want to run a line of glue around the top like that, and then put some moss all over the top edge of the container too. So like that, you'll squeeze it all down and press it down with your fingers just so that you can cover that top edge. Then let me show you on, let's put some more glue in the middle of here. And we can add some rocks too. So once our whole top is covered with moss, then we'll go ahead and pour some rocks into the top. Now I would brush this glue around in the top here so that we can hold our rocks in place. But you're just going to add a layer like this right onto the glue. And if you need to, you can go back and add some glue in between. Of course, I need to cover the rest of my fairy house here so that it's completely covered in moss. Now, another option for the roof would be that instead of adding rocks, you could add a little bird nest to the top. Let's take a look at the finished one, and I'll put it right on there. You can see what that would look like with the nest on top. So don't forget to visit our site for lots of other projects, plus some bonus ideas from this season.